I don't exactly know what I am going to end up naming this video, but I am going to riff about emotion management or or what's called like state management, what some people would like to say. And I want to share like my basic understanding of emotion management. What that exactly means is how I stopped feeling a sense of general unease, negative, self hate, guilty, and a lot of self attack. Like how I completely removed all of that. Now, I before I go on, before you watch more of this video, I want to just make sure that I don't know if the path I'm going on is right or wrong. A lot of my friends saying it's concerning, but I don't know how it will turn out. Let's see. So yeah. So no, just basically what's happening is that no matter what situation I am in, I have stopped feeling self hate, self attack, and those are the things that you could probably relate with. Like the okay, why did I do that? Why that's totally my fault, or like I fucked up there. Whenever something happens that is quote unquote bad for you, and you just start basically victimizing, or not even victimizing, like blaming yourself. Like you don't act like a victim. Like I haven't acted like a victim in a very long time. I don't remember acting like a victim. I mean, I did probably at certain instances, but not not that many. But the thing is, like, acting like a victim is like an escapism. It's like trying to escape from taking responsibility, right? It's trying. It's and there's also the it's like two sides of the coin. You either take full responsibility of your life, which you definitely should, or you become a victim of life and you let it guide your course. Like so, life happens to you, not for you, right? So yeah, going the responsibility route is one of the best ways to live life. But there's also a caveat to all of this that I think a lot of like general philosophy doesn't mention. Before I go on, in a gist, I used to follow Stoicism for a few years, like before I got it. Like while I got into personal development and everything, Stoicism was a really driving factor for my personal growth and stuff. I remember I still have like meditations, the book from the journal from Marcus Aurelius on my home back in Kolkata. But the thing that stands that I learned a lot of stuff from meditations, and one of the biggest principle in that is like focus on what you can control and ignore like everything else like outside of your control, because not ignore, but it doesn't like really like focusing on it, spending attention on something you cannot control like the weather or something is not the best use of your time, is it? Like it's like common sense, right? But there's this one thing that nobody ever told me in stoicism, or maybe they did, I just didn't try to understand it enough. But yeah, that was like take full responsibility, but also have self love. Like realize there are times where you tried your best, but that doesn't mean you have to attack yourself because you didn't do the right thing, right? Now, I'm not saying you intentionally should choose to not do the right thing, or I intentionally chose to not do the right thing. I tried, like, I'm not talking about one specific instance, just to be clear. It's like a multiple bit. It's just this thing, right? This is a thing I do, and I somehow feel bad because I did not do the right thing. Now that doesn't make sense because I actually like worked. I actually did in the situation itself, right? When it was like unfolding, for example, I tried the best I could. Maybe you could relate with it. I tried the best I could based on what I knew, right? There will be there might have been like situations in your life where you tried the best you could in a certain situation, depending on what you knew, depending on your values, and things didn't turn out the way you wanted to, or they turned out to be quote unquote negative, and maybe you ended up like me, like I used to do before, like attacking yourself, like attacking myself, like why did I do that? Why I could have done this, but I could have done that, but I'm so bad. I'm so not good enough. This, that, is that. And the thing with that is like it creates a negative spiral loop, right? You don't really grow if your brain is constantly in self attack mode. If you are constantly in a struggle, in a fight with yourself, that is not a healthy relationship to be with yourself, and that took a lot of time for me to understand personally, because I thought like if I stopped saying these things, that I won't be as motivated to, that I thought like it was the driving force behind my actions, which I later found out was not true, because I could come from a place of self love where I understand that I am making mistakes, but I'm trying my best, and I still go for the things with 100% of my effort, right? That's a very important place, but that requires a complete change of beliefs. It requires the understanding of, well, first of all, it's a good thing I'm riffraffing and I don't have a structure right here, because as I talk, a lot of things unfold in my mind too. So I talked about values. Now the thing is like over the past month, I've gotten much more clear on my values, like what I want, because I took the time to note it down. Not just once, I've done it over years, like every few here and there. But I took the time to note down my values, my beliefs, whatnot, like on a notebook, so I know exactly like what I want. And these are simple stuff like I want to provide value to the world. I first of all am the best. I'm not in a narcissistic way, but it's like there's like it's like a spectrum for everything. Like if you can take something way too far, no matter what it is, right? If you drink way too much water, you will eventually die. But the thing is like if I if I stood by the value of I should be a good person and provide value to the world, I might just end up not providing value to myself. I think that's called like altruism or whatever. But the thing is like what I understood later on, or like very late, is like the first person you should provide value to is yourself. Because like if you've probably been on a plane and you've probably seen those warning commercials or whatever, like it's the warning commercials that starts with the cabin crew explaining, okay, there's like doors this side, that side, and if the air marks or like the oxygen marks drops, that you have to wear it yourself first before you help someone else, right? And that's a very good metaphor. The thing is like you in the world right here, right now, you have to help yourself before you help somebody else, because if you are not coming from a place of self love, you will kind of end up projecting what you have, which is like self attack, onto some other person. It's like if you have negativity in yourself, you will kind of end up projecting onto others. I think that's like pretty much self explanatory, right? But the thing is, like for the longest time, I didn't actually took the time to understand that I was doing that. I actually was very stubborn about it, like most people are. But yeah, so yeah, I was very stubborn about it. So it came to my awareness for some time, thanks to my good friends, and I took the time to sit down and really look at it, like what was I doing, you know, and I understood like okay, so I was coming from a place of self attack and I was projecting it onto others, and that was not good. That was not. I didn't have a healthy relationship with myself, and I didn't have a healthy relationship with others. It might seem on paper that I had a good relationship because I was nice to them and I supported them or whatever, but it generally wasn't healthy in the fact that I was not encouraging of myself. I was very like demoralizing and demotivating, and I was doing the same with others, right? And that's not a good company to have, right? You should be the person you want to hang around with. It's basic. So the thing is like, yeah, I'm going off track, but I think it needed to be explained. First, that you understand that self attack is not going to get you anywhere. It's only going to make you feel bad. It's only going to make you feel worse for yourself, and it's coming from a place of negativity that's like holding you down, that's holding your consciousness down. So the next thing is coming from a place of self-love. These are two very important paradigms before I move on to how you can manage your own state. Self love is providing value to yourself. It's loving yourself. It's understanding that if you have the right values, you will try your best in any situation based on the data you have, and you love yourself for it, even if things go wrong, right? Even if things don't turn out the way you want it to be, because at the end of the day, we are not like omnipotent beings that like control the weather or whatever. If something is outside of us, like not directly in our control, hell, if, even our own body is, even our own mind is not in our control, right? So the thing is like, if there's something outside of our control, it's like say business meeting, business deals, a relationship or whatever, and something goes wrong, and you start like blaming yourself. It's like, does that really help you, right? It's you are going to self attack. I mean, guilt. I've heard that guilt is a healthy emotion. I don't know about that because it's a negative emotion, and it doesn't seem like a good way to live, because if you have the right set of values and you unintentionally end up doing something, it's a I think it's an ethical thing. But would I choose to feel guilty if I have really good intentions and I end up doing something bad? Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah. But it's not a hard yes. It's not a hard yes. It depends on the situation. It depends on the severity. And the thing is like, dude, most of the situations you are in that like don't matter. It will go up in smoke after a few days, months, or years. Like, things pass by. But the thing is like, feeling guilty is not going to be helpful for you. It just isn't, in most scenarios, right? Now the thing with that is, where was I? I'm completely going off topic. So yeah, self love. You have to love yourself for, and it's, so yeah, I will give you a basic formula for it. So every time you catch yourself like attacking yourself, you have to tell yourself kind of like a positive affirmations. Affirmations do work for, by the way. I've tried them out. Trust me, bros. Bro science, whatever. Yeah, so once you see yourself attacking, once the negative, like, once your mind goes like, yo, why did you do that? That was bad. Don't do that. You're shit. You're, you're worse. Stop that. Stop that negative train of thought, like, not literally, but like, change it with a positive one. Go like, oh, I tried the best I could, like, consciously. Talk it out loud if you want. Actually, it's funny thing. I did. My friends visited from another city, and were actually doing this thing. I actually made some changes in our biochemistry, in the sense how we were feeling after doing those affirmations. So it's the thing, you have to try it out before you kind of debunk anything. So yeah. So the thing is that like, once you see those negative thought patterns like coming in, just go. That I tried the best I could. I meant for the best. Things might not have turned out the way I did, but my intention was very clear. It was a positive one, and I tried to do the best. And I'm good enough. Basically, something like that. Something positive about yourself. And the thing is like, it's like patterns, like it's habits basically. The more you do it, something, the more native it becomes, the more easy it becomes. So it's like swinging a bat. So like, if you swing a bat in one direction, you can actually learn to swing the bat in another direction, right? It's the same thing with your mind. uh, the thought patterns you have, it might not happen overnight, but it will happen like the more you do it, like over, let's say, a day, few days, a few weeks, months, or whatever. And that is something you have to realize, that you have to consciously put an active effort into it. And once you switch from that paradigm of like self hate to self attack, you can somewhat come back to neutrality, which is like, I think, is like the concept of enlightenment in my mind, where you see things for what it is, not in the sense of go bad or good. Just see things for what it is, of as like a consciousness, uh, as just an awareness. I think I don't want to go into spirituality too much, but yeah, basically, once you go from self attack to self love, you have much more control over your mind, because you're not in constant battle with yourself, right? You have a helping and like encouraging friend, which is yourself. Congratulations. What next? emotion management. So basically, what you need to realize is like whatever emotion you are in, you're going to feel more of it. It's called inertia. If you have read like, if you have been dipped your toe into physics, what stays in motion, no wait, what stays in race or stays in rest, unless an uh, external motion, external force acts on it. Whatever. Damn, I got single digit in science classes because I didn't really focus, but whatever. Um, so yeah, emotion management. So once you understand, like, if you're feeling happy, you are going to want to feel more of that emotion. You're going to want to feel more of happy. If you feel sad, you're going to want to feel more of sad. And the same with anger, fear, or whatever. I don't think it's the same with fear, but yeah, same with anger mostly. So the thing is like, once you realize that, you have to make like a conscious decision. The same thing with like self hate, where your mind runs off with negative thought patterns. You have to make a conscious decision of, yo, I need to snap out of it. And once you do that, you have to actually, one I've been reading NLP books, not even books, like one book from Richard Bandler over the past 2 weeks. And what I got to realize is, if you just imagine the best and most confident version of yourself standing in front of you, and you just step in his shoes and start to feel what he's feeling, right? It takes time. It doesn't happen with a thought. Just sit down, do it for 3 to 5 minutes. Once you do that, like, go back to the memory where you were the most confident, wherever it was. Like, maybe it was with a group of friends, with a family, in an event, if you whether when you won something or whatever, when you got a prize. Just remember that memory, play it back, in that exact moment you were feeling confident in, and just completely like immerse yourself into it, and you will eventually like start to feel the same confident emotions within the 3 minutes. Now the thing stands like, if you are feeling angry, you can. I think it's hard with anger, but you still have to do it. Once you're feeling, let's say, sad, you can go back to a time where you're feeling very happy, where you, let's say, won a lottery or something, and you remember those times and you feel exactly what you did feel at that time. You have to put in real life, but you can't just say like, oh, I tried that didn't work. You have to put in real effort to make some real changes. But yeah, once you do that, you will start to feel some changes in your body. You will start to feel a little bit happier. Now the thing is like, you're getting out of the mood you were in into a completely different mood. Let's say you are working. Um, Something you need to realize is a completely random thing, but if you're making a very big decision, whether that's with work, business, relationship, health, whatever, do it from a place where you're motivated, where you're happy, from a positive place, not from a place where you're sad or whatever. Because if you remember, when you were sad, did you wanted to go out and talk to people? Did you want to call that friend and have a good time with him? Maybe you did, but it's very unlikely that you, when you were sad or feeling depressed, damn, I can't even pronounce, but when you were sad or when you were feeling depressed, that you tried to do anything that was completely out of that domain. So basically, the thing is like, once you feel like happy, you want to do more of stuff that makes you happy. Once you feel sad, you want to do more of stuff that makes you sad. Maybe that's watching a sad movie or sad song. You get my gist. So yeah, that's the thing. You have to realize what you are doing, and if you really want to get out of it, you have to try out the things I told you. How to Take Charge of Your Life by Richard Bandler is a very good book on basically emotions. Oh yeah, lastly, the most important thing is beliefs. You have to believe that this all of the things I said is actually possible for you to, completely change it. Beliefs are the foundation for anything. If you don't think it's possible, you are obviously not going to follow it. If you thought I was like spouting a lot of bullshit, you would probably like click off the video or whatever, right? So the thing stands like, you have to uh, actively like cultivate good beliefs. I will probably make a video on that too, but yeah, you have to cultivate beliefs that actually support you, that empower you. And if you have the belief that, oh, I'm feeling sad, will not feel any other way, you're not going to change. But if you feel like, oh, I, I'm feeling sad, but I can choose to feel happy right now. That's called state management. That's you working on your emotion and you changing your emotions, right? It doesn't happen with a click of button. But the thing is, the more times you do it, the better it gets. And the thing, lastly, I want to jump on the fact of self attack, that once you stop feeling bad because of like your own attacks, self attacks, you will found a new profound respect for yourself. You will start to feel better in your own skin. And once you practice self love more and more and more, you'll feel generally better in your day to day life. You'll be much more happier. You'll be in a much more positive mood throughout your day, much more motivated to do stuff. And that is generally a really good place to come from, regardless of who you are or what you do, right? Basic things. But yeah, that went on for about 21 minutes. I hope my audio recorder came off right. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I will probably update this video over the course of the next few months or whatever, depending on how exactly my understanding of this whole thing of emotion, whole game of emotion comes in. But yeah, if you, that's also the thing, like, I would definitely recommend you to check out, look up priming emotions, or just priming in general. It's a psychological thing. Look up stuff on priming by Tony Robbins. He's a very good, um, I think he has a very good video. It's called tonyrobbins.com/priming. And once you go on that page, you will probably find a video that actually tells you on how to prime your day, or like ready yourself for the day, like mentally. Get in the headspace that makes you much more grateful, much more happier, in a positive mood, so you can start your day with a with the motivated head start, instead of going like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I want to do that, or I don't want to do that, or that, this or that. So yeah, go and do that. So it's been like 22 minutes. I don't want to riff on too long, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions and comments. And I hope I was articulate enough in this video, even though I was speaking so fast and probably at sometimes speaking too fast to say pronounce things clearly. Whatever. Have a great night.